assist customers to do bill payments. They do BVN enrollment. Nowadays, they do NIN enrollment too. So these are some of the services. You provide insurance, you sell insurance to at a very minimum rate to the excluded people in the economy.
Now, is it a business really that one can do other set of businesses that one is actually running?
Well, the way the business was actually fashioned out in time past was actually to have someone who has an existing business to be provided, because they believe you're already existing in that environment. People already know you. It would give some level of confidence
and trust
and assurance to the people that this person that we are dealing with, you know, is. But oftentimes, I mean, times have also shown that people who really are in the business squarely without some other things are much more active, effective in delivering the financial services than people who have some other things that they're doing. But of course, you can actually be an existing business owner selling some things, some merchandise, and still be a mobile money or bank agent.
Now let us now look at it. Entering into the business of mobile money and bank agent, what are the procedures? What is the process really in getting into that business? And then what skills really does one, what skill does one need, or skills would one really need to survive in the business?
Okay, so starting from what are those things that are needed? Number one, you have to have a location that is traceable. By that, we mean you must have a exist in a brick and mortar location. You must, or you have a kiosk in a verifiable address. That is very important. Then that means you must be able to they must be able to identify you in that location. Then, of course, minimum qualification that is required is school certs. So long you can operate devices, then your brain can function well to count money. I mean, you can relate with people in a very good way, then you are good to go.
Now, let us look at it. Is it capital intensive? How much really would one really need to go into this business? Do I need to, get a shop or to get a complex where I would actually use as my office, or it's something I can operate from my house?
The amount is relative. The amount needed is relative to the environment or the location that you have. I cannot sit here and say it is X amount of naira, but when you are in the location, you'll be able to determine over a period of time if you need more cash at hand or more fund in your wallet or bank account, because the types of transactions that you process at your that, and the level of traffic that you are able to also generate in that location will also determine the amount that is needed. So by that I mean, in some locations it could be that they come to do more of cash deposits. Then it means you'll be having more cash. That means you need to have enough in your bank account to be able to process those transfers for them. Then in some other locations it could be that they come for more of cash to withdraw cash from you. That means you need to have more cash. Then, like I said, after a couple of times, I mean, a period of time, you'll be able to determine if I will be needing more cash at my outlets, or I will need to have more fund in my account.
And then it also comes with a lot of feasibility studies, trying to understand, the environment needs, and see whether the business will even prosper in that environment.
That is very important, because today we see that people see an already existing outlet of agents, and they want to also place their own location beside that person just to compete. Whereas we have some other locations that are really starved of these financial services that you can also go there. So that is about not being lazy, just want to compete with already existing business owner that this
Because
person
somebody is there.
is making money, so let me also stay here. There are different locations, even in Ogun State here, that don't have presence of banks and any POS operator there.
Now let us look at the business really. What skill or skills do you think potential mobile money and bank agents should have that will help them to their chances in being successful in the business?
Not skill really, just that you need to just have some level of patience.
Virtue.
The virtue. I mean, you have to have some level of patience. It's a business. Sometimes I tell people that I've come across in the business that just try to see yourself banking hall when you are in the business. Okay, what is obtained in the banking hall? That is exactly. When you walk into a banking hall, there's no rush. You take time to be attended to. You pick your deposit or withdrawal slip, then be on the queue, another of those. So in your outlet too, you need to have that kind of disposition, not to be in any rush to serve any customer. Otherwise,
Because of what is
you'll be setting yourself to losing money. I mean, there are people out there. If you have hundreds of customers come around to your outlet in a day, you look at all of them like potential scammers, because some people are moving around because they see that most have this laxity around their system that they want to exploit and ensure that they take your money without the relevant change of transfer of fund or withdrawal of their own fund. They just come around to either pay you fake currencies, or they do fake alert to you by way of saying they want to transfer for cash, and they run away because. But when you are not in control, you are set up to lose your hard-earned capital in this. That patience. You also need to learn from those that have been in the business. What we see these days are people learn on the business and they lose a lot of money in the process. So you need to learn from those that have been in the business to also understand wrongs so that you won't run into loss.
Now, we talked about those who are mobile money and bank agent operators who make blunders, and then at the end of the day, they lose their money. Now, conversely, some people are also of the opinion that customers also lose their money from these money and bank agents, and that actually made a member of the House of Representatives to call on the CBN to put in place stringent measures to regulate these POS outlets across Nigeria. Now, is it that there are no stringent measures put in place, or there are no regulations put in place, to check of this business, runners, operators?
Okay, thank you. At the beginning of this program, I made mention of the fact that this sector is a deliberate effort of the government to financially include those that are unbanked and underbanked. So I believe CBN will not go out to create a sector without guidelines. It is even, if you can check it on the line, online, it is there. There is regulation, there is a framework under which we operate. The only thing that is lacking is enforcement. And so as an association, we've been trying our best to ensure that these guidelines are adhered to strictly. And one of the reasons why we also had a press conference to counter those claims is because we believe for you to say you want to make laws regarding a particular section of the country or economy, you need to have an understanding of the business. So there's a guideline. That means the lawmaker is not aware there's a guideline. CBN regulates our sector. That's number one. Number two, some things that he mentioned too, like POS agents use fake alerts. That's not true. We are victims of fake alerts. He said that POS agents circulate fake counterfeited notes. That's not true. At the receiving end of some of these crimes that have been committed, our members have reported a lot of them to the police, and we have handed over a lot of.
Now, it is possible that your members have reported a lot of them, but are you saying that there are no records where, or reports where your members were actually found wanting in this illicit?
We have nabbed one or two mobile money agents, not our members. The reason why I'm saying this is because in our association we take our time to train our members. In all the states or the federation. Last year we were in Abuja for our national conference. That was the fifth one, by the way. And then in all of the 5 editions, the CBN, the panel, and the critical stakeholders in the industry have always been part of our event. So we are a body that is well recognized by the CBN and the government. And so our members don't indulge in such acts.
Now, I mean, it means that, I mean, what you said earlier on, it also means that you have some people who do this business and yet they're not your members.
Of course.
Now, what are you doing
so that is our grouse, and that is why we need the government to sit with us. We've been doing our, last year we were at the national, we met with Honorable Victor Nwokolo, is the chairman of the House Committee on the Banking and Currency. We made our position known. That was why it came as a jolt was that kind of motion was even being moved without our input, because we were there. We in trying to ensure that the business space is sanitized.
Now, we really do not have enough time on our side, but as we go, as the public relations officer of, National Public Relations Officer of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria, what would be your advice really to both customers of mobile money and bank agents and even the agents themselves, briefly, in order to ensure that things are done rightly and that nobody falls victim of the other?
For customers, I will say that whenever they go out to conduct any form of business with any POS agent, they should be cautious of the outlet they are going to. Of course, there are counterfeit and kangaroo outlets out there that we do not really. Of course, we are starting up with our force nationally to begin to go out and weed out all unscrupulous elements in our business space. And of course, my advice to fellow agents is that they should continue, for our members, they should continue to do the right things. We will not rest until we get it right in this sector. Again, for those that have not joined, if they do not have anything to hide, they should come under the umbrella so that we would get a better business environment. It is for the good of all.
Everyone. We must thank you so much, Mr. Segun Elegbede, for your time with us this morning, for also heeding our call once again. And we are so sure that when we call you again, you will also heed our call. Mr. Segun Elegbede is the National Public Relations Officer of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria, AMMBAN. And of course, he has been able to tell us so much about the business of mobile money and bank agents and what they are doing really to sanitize a space. And I'm so sure that potential mobile money and bank agents also already have enough information that they need to if it is a business that you want to go into. Well, that's the much we have program. We'll go on this break. When we come back, the program